Over 1.5 million albums sold worldwide. His name is Xola Malik, also known as Kid Sensation. Kid, what up, man? Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
What's good, Clif? What's good? What's good? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, you've been on before. Do you know that?
100%. 100%.
A couple years back.
100%.
So where are you at today?
I'm in Dallas, man.
Yeah, you moved, huh?
Yeah, man. I still got digs in Seattle, but my mainstay now is here in Dallas, man. I'm here until it gets real blazing hot in the summertime. Then I'll be up in the Northwest hanging out.
What was the motivation for the move to Dallas?
Honestly, man, trading in 300 days of rain for 300 days of sunshine.
Right. Yep. I hear you, man.
My Northwest gets a little bit, it's a lot, man. I mean, all the dreary and cloudy days and rainfall and whatnot, it becomes a lot.
No doubt. No doubt. How long you been in Dallas?
About a year and a half now.
Okay, cool, man. Did you guys build a house or did you move into a
Yeah, man. We built this little spot, man, that you see here, man. And we've just been chilling back there, man.
How do you like Dallas so far?
Love it, man. Love it.
Yeah.
Weather's great, man, and good people, good food, good stuff, man.
Yeah. I hope you're ready for the heat, man, in summer.
Summers are no joke.
No joke, man. Yeah. Stifling hot, man.
No joke.
Yeah.
It is painfully hot, and once it gets to the peak of the summer.
Yeah. Stifling hot. Well, cool, man. Your house looks pretty dope from what I can, see of it. Looks really nice.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I hope the background's not too busy.
Oh, no, man, you're definitely good. You're definitely good. So Xola, man, 2020, you release Presently Past the Future. Want to talk about that album a little bit, some of the songs that came off of it. And I also want to talk about the Kid Sensation brand, if you will, the Kid Sensation business and how you're going about that these days. But first, man, Presently Past the Future. Want to talk about a couple of songs off of that. First, Feeling Myself, which I guess was the first single that you released from that album. Is that correct?
Yep.
Cool, man. And how did that song do, if you will?
Man, I mean, it's like, how is that song kind of like doing? It's still like wildly popular, one of my most popular songs in terms of, the reaction and when I perform it and I tell people that song is coming next, people just like are still super excited about it. Really well, man. And it's always been one of my most popular performance songs as well, and, to be honest, I think that there's a message in it that's a little bit deeper than most people just kind of know. They just think, oh, I'm just talking about, I'm feeling myself and I'm feeling good. But it's really a song, man, that kind of rallies us around self-esteem and all these kind of things. You know how, man, especially with this generation, man, depression and anxiety and these kind of things, man, and then struggling with identity and purpose and self-esteem. These are things that, man, that I think that are just kind of universal, especially in this day and age, man. But, that whole feeling myself thing is not just about, yeah, man, I'm feeling myself because I'm all this and that. But it's like, man, you have to feel yourself, man. You got to love yourself because the world is tearing us down. It's beating us down. We're all trying to measure ourselves up with social media to everyone else, man. We're comparing, everybody else's highlight reel to our deleted scenes, right? You know what I mean? It's like impossible to measure up to everybody else's best that they put out on social media. And we sit there and tear ourselves down sometimes because we don't have it the way everybody else has it. And it's like, yo, man, you got to feel yourself, man, whether you're short, tall, skinny, fat, whether you're old, young, whether you're, no matter who you are, man, you only get one of you. So you better feel yourself and love yourself.
Right. Yeah. Dig the message, man, for sure. And in classic Kid Sensation form, my God, dude, that song hits so hard, man.
Yeah, we gotta have that bass, man. We gotta have that bass, man. You gotta be able to have some body, man. That's my trademark, and it's great, man, that people are resonating with the message.
Yeah, it's a fantastic track, man. Xola, I wanted to ask you, Xola or Kid, does it matter?
It doesn't matter, man. Cole is my name. Kid is my handle. It's all good,
I
man.
like Kid, man. I'm gonna go with Kid. I like Kid. Um,
Love it, man.
Wanted to ask you the who's bad sample in that track of Feeling Myself. Did you have to get that cleared?
Actually, no, I did not, man. And it was, the track is by a guy named Rujay, and no, it's actually not a sample. It's like something that he just kind of created with sounds that sounds like a sample.
Gotcha. Cool. And there's a video for Feeling Myself as well. That's correct, right? I think I
100% correct.
Yep. Cool, man. That was
100%
shot.
correct.
Did you shoot that in Seattle?
Yeah, well, funny story about that. Yes, in Seattle. And then here's what's crazy about it is that the video, I called it basically the video that was done by my fans and my people, man, because like what I did originally to get all the footage and all the clips and all the stuff in the video was I basically put it out there to everybody. And it was, during the pandemic and whatnot, when everybody was kind of isolated, I said, listen, we going to make us a fun music video. Everybody's going to be at home. I don't care if you're in your pajamas and whatever it is, man. Just send me footage of yourself feeling yourself to this song. It could be just stuff you're doing that's not to the song. I could care less. Man, we just going to do something and we do this together. And the idea seemed to resonate with everybody. And so I started getting in tons and tons and tons of footage. So I'd send it to the director, Daryl Dominic, and I dumped it in his lap. And I was like, okay, man, here's a big old puzzle, man. And with 1,000 pieces, I was like, put it together, man. And that's what we came up with.
That's good stuff, man. And Sir Mix-a-Lot makes an appearance in that video as well, correct?
100%. Because when I was asking everybody to do it, I said, man, I need you to do it as well. And Jamal Crawford, he was in the NBA playing for the Suns at the time. And so I had a few guest star appearances that was really cool, man.
That's good stuff, man. So you have 3 videos, I believe, from the album, right? It's Feeling Myself, Undefeated List with your son, Kendi Fresh, and then Westside. Is that right? There's 3.
You already know the Westside had to be a part of it. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
3
man.
Music videos from the album, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about the Westside video with Wands. Tell me a little bit about that video and where that was shot, man. There's a few things I'm interested in with that video. Where was it shot? How'd you get the DeLorean? Who shot the video? What can you tell me about it?
Man, that video, yeah, that was so much fun pulling that together. And it was shot mainly in Seattle, in Sumner, to be exact, in the 253. And we shot while like a car show was going on. Then we put together our own little side thing, our side scene from that car show that was happening. And so we had all the low riders and all the stuff as part of that Westside video. And then, of course, connecting with Wands, man. Wands and I have known each other for a long time, but I needed some of that fun, energy that Wands brings and that voice that he brings, man. And, we put the track together and, the idea was to say that we wanted to bring back some of that West Coast hip hop. Like, you remember, man, when the West Coast, man, was running things, man, and Dre and Snoop and Mix and myself and all these different West Coast acts, man, from Spice One to everybody, man. It's like, I was like, yo, man, let's bring that West Coast sound back. Let's go back and pay homage to all of these artists. And, and it was just really a tribute, man, to the West Coast sound, man, to the West Coast sound that just cracked, man, that just made everybody, dance. And, it was like, man, I missed it, and there's a lot of people that do miss that sound and miss that vibe. And I was like, you know what, we gonna bring back what was missing, man. What once was, man, with that West Coast sound and that West Coast energy. And so we put that track together, and then the music video, man, like you said, the DeLorean, man, the story behind that, we were searching all over, right? I was putting it out there on social media, and then I found out about a DeLorean car club, and there's like people who have DeLoreans that all kind of hang out and hook up and whatever. And so I reached out to a guy, Matt, and I was like, yo, man, can you bring your your joint down here, man, for this video shoot. And he was like, man, this would be, I'd be honored. And man, come on, man, let's get it going. And so it was the same as all of the old school, cars and everything that was a part of the video, man. It was just like everybody was excited about the song because I, of course, sent the song out to people. Everybody was excited about the concept of bringing back the West Coast hip hop. And a lot of people sleep on Seattle being West Coast, but we are 100%, on the West Coast, of course, but they almost like look at us as like the little brother of what's got to go on. I'm like, yo, we are part of this, man. And so it was just really cool to pay homage to all of those artists and all of that. And it's been cool to get the reactions that we've gotten.
Yeah, yeah. And a nice little touch with the Run DMC license plate on the back of the DeLorean. That was
right. See, now everybody was like, "Oh man, I see what you're doing there. You're throwing it back to Run DMC." And now I understand. And Matta, who owns the DeLorean, explained. He said, "No, it's not Run DMC. The artist Run DMC is part of the parallel, but DMC is DeLorean Motor Company."
Oh, there you go, man. Very cool. I didn't realize
so
that
look
either.
At that.
I thought it was a shout out to Run DMC. But
look at that,
cool,
man. It plays on them both. I mean, I really believe it is. I believe it's like he said, I'm running it, kind of on two lanes, but just doing a shout out to both.
That's awesome, man. And I like how some nice little touches in the video that I really like. Wands is getting back into the DeLorean. As he's getting back in, he's kind of singing "My Posse's on Broadway." Nice little touch as well to that. That's really cool, man. Yep.
Come on, man. We're just finding little ways to shout out it. And like, we're kind of going back and forth with presently, past, the future, and all that. And that's the album title. Yep. There was just lots of little things we loved. We were just, trying to show a lot of love with. And so it was fun.
Was that a one-day shoot?
No, man, that was actually a couple of days, man. Really? Yeah. And then we had to even go back and get a few more pickup shots.
Okay. Gotcha. Yep. Who shot that video?
So Focus, and it's Gorilla Productions, man. I mean, that guy, man, he is just an amazing dude, man. He's shot a couple of my music videos, man. And he's shot some of my son's music videos as well. And so I just really, really love him. Talented dude from out of Seattle, man. Focus.
Just one dude that shot that.
Yes, sir. He's the director and the shooter, but of course he has a crew that he brings along. Man, yeah, he is the brainchild behind it, man.
Very cool. And of course, your boy once again makes a appearance in the video. Sir Mix-a-Lot rolls up in is it a Ferrari or a Lamborghini?
Yeah, he was in the Lamborghini, man. He was in the Lambo, man. And I gotta share some of the with you some of the behind the scenes footage, man, because there was some fun stuff going on. But yeah, man, I said, listen, Anthony, man, I know that. You are, of course, he is all old school, all West Coast, all those things. But I was like, man, I need you to show up and I need you to bring the Lambo, man. And even though it's not necessarily old school, I said, I think we got a fun way of tying it in. So, man, of course, he obliged, man. It's popped in. And yeah, that was really dope to have him there.
That's so cool, man. And he rolls up in a 808 t-shirt. It's just so
yes,
classic.
sir.
It's fantastic.
Yes, sir.
It's fantastic. Sir. Is he still out? Is he still out there? Is he still putting out music, Sir Mix-a-Lot?
100%, mainly touring, man, because like Baby Got Back is that song that you couldn't kill with a sledgehammer, man. No matter what you do, it keeps coming back and resurfacing in movies and commercials and so many other things. And so, yeah, man, he's absolutely, producing, touring and, he's a creative man. So I know he's always writing and stuff. So as far as a release, I don't know if he's putting anything else out new, but all that kind of stuff keeps him so busy, man. And he's such a important piece of Seattle and West Coast, in fact, just music history.
Really cool. Kid, is that Maharaji in the video?
Maharaji's in the video? Of course, come on, man. It had to have Maharaji, with the crazy dance moves. He's still at it, still doing it, man. And so it was just great to have him and E-Dog and Attitude Adjuster and all the guys that are from, the Emerald City, man. They were just, kind enough to just be a part of the video. So it was dope having all of them.
Kid, did you reach out to Larry, the white guy?
100%, man. Yeah, and and so he isn't in the music video, but he's definitely, still like he actually, helped to do some of the promoting and stuff like that too. So Larry's is still somebody that's cool and always in my corner.
That's amazing, man. Throughout the years and as long as it's been, you still have contact, it sounds, with a lot of those guys, Larry, Maharaji, Sir Mix-a-Lot. I guess there's couple of other guys out there that would be maybe PLB and Kevin. Do you still keep in touch with those guys?
BLB, Kevin, yeah, E-Dog, like I say, man, all these guys, man, that are just still a part of the music, still a part of the scene, and just, integral parts. I mean, these are guys too, like I said, that it's funny that you did name PLB. These are guys that I literally can call anytime, any day and say, hey, man, this is what I'm looking to do. Or, hey, man, I'm trying to figure this out. Can you help me this or that or the other? These are all dudes I can put one phone call, one text into, man, and they're right there for me.
That's so cool, man. Who wrote the album?
The Presently Past and Future
Presently
album?
Past and Future, yeah.
Yeah, that was me, man.
All you.
That was me. And then, of course, everyone who's on the album and featured on the album wrote their respective parts.
Gotcha. So, Cole, how do you make, in this day and age, how do you make that album? Are you doing it in a studio? Are you doing it at your house? How does that all get made? Do you mix it yourself? Are you doing that as well?
A little bit of both, a little bit of recording in other studios, recording in my studios. My studio, I send out, I send out some of my stuff to get mixed. I send out some of my stuff to get mastered because I don't, I'm the type of person where I understand that letting other people come in to produce, letting people come in to bring in their creativity, to mix, to master, to whatever, it just adds more hands into the pot, man, and it helps to create something that is shining off of everyone's creativity versus me trying to do it all myself. I'm not, I'm not that talented, bro, to where I do everything perfectly. It's great, man, to be able to have other creativity, man, and other people, adding into the pot. So it's dope, man.
Very cool. Any radio airplay from any of the songs off the album?
Yeah, man, Feeling Myself, man, has done well on Spotify. Westside has as well, and then a little bit of radio play on both of some of the, some of the stations, some of those, especially some of the little local and college and internet stations have been really kind and generous to give us some love on that. But yeah, man, absolutely.
And how does that process work? How are these college stations or these radio stations picking that up? Right, you're independent artist. You don't have the promotion of a label. How's it happen? How's it work?
Well, one cool thing is that I do have distribution through Westsyde, and they've been, in the trenches getting some of that stuff hooked up. And then, of course, I have an agent who, Nims Scarum, and, Nims has been integral in helping to get some of the promotion and some of the things like that happening. And, you just, man, you get out there and it's the same, knocking on doors with emails and knocking on doors with, sending out things and posting and sharing and, just getting people to realize what you're kind of up to. And social media has been very, very helpful. And we've had a couple of things, do well on TikTok and on Instagram that have helped us. And then also creating, business partnerships with, people like Mackie Electronics, who's a local electronics company out of Seattle that are doing amazing things, man. They've got, studio gear, but then on top of studio gear, they've stepped into the consumer space, man, with earbuds and headphones and things like that. And so Mackie has done some amazing work, and they've been able to help me to promote and do all that too, because I piggyback off of a lot of what they do. So it's just been relationships, and it's been, promoting and just getting out there doing what we do. And then, of course, a lot of performing because people are excited to get back out here, man, and do concerts and do life. And so it's been a combination of things.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I was going to talk to you about your sponsorship with Mackie. So how does that work, kid? Is that, do they pay you? Are they providing you with product? What does that sponsorship look like for you?
Kind of all of the above, man. It's really cool, man. Like Mackie has, really, stepped up to the plate and been like, man, we look at you the same way as we kind of look at ourselves, a kind of a scrappy underdog who's, still in the fight. They're from Seattle, I'm from Seattle. And then being able to do what we do and run, very similar lanes, man. Like Mackie's not the big dog in the game, right? I mean, there's some much bigger electronics companies, but boy, man, Mackie sure can put out a quality product and put out, something that resonates with people, that gives people access at a low price point. with Mackie, man, you know, you can be in business and in a studio for, you know, just a few $100, less than what you're paying for your computer. You can be on with Pro Tools and with high end, you know, equipment and all this, and it's digital, and you know they're giving you the quality and giving you the goods. And that's kind of how I am, man. I may not have all the fanfare and all the big label money and dollars behind me, but I'm putting out quality music, quality products, you know, quality, you know, from my t-shirts to my, you know, my gear and to my music and everything that I put out. I want to put out quality for my, you know, for my fan base and for people that love, you know, what we're doing and love the fact that we're bringing back, you know, the quality hip hop, right? Like, I mean, no disrespect to the artists that are out today, but there's a lot of people who are like, man, I miss what we grew up on, the beats, the rhymes, the storytelling, and all the things that are on the Presently Past the Future album. That's what that album is about. It's like, it's a tip of the cap to the past, but yet it's showing what the future can be like, man, if we can, you know, just not lose sight of what hip hop is. And hip hop is about beats, rhymes, storytelling, and us, you know, putting our lives and our stories to music and bring it out there in a way that the fans can understand and resonate with and relate to. And so that's what I view myself as, is like this storyteller who has not lost touch with the roots of what hip hop really is.
Yeah, and you can really hear that in Westside, man. I mean, big time. Kid, from your John, from what you just said, from your genre, other than yourself, is there anybody else out there doing it right now like you?
Man, maybe not exactly like me, but there are people who, in my opinion, that have same thing. They haven't lost touch with, you know, with what hip hop was and still bringing, you know, hip hop. Man, like I love like the Roots, right? I mean, I love what they have. They have not lost touch with who they are, Black Thought as an MC and the Roots as a band. I mean, it's like, man, they're just so creative. I think that they're dope. I think that they haven't lost touch with what hip hop was. They haven't said, oh man, you know, we're going to fall in line with where hip hop has kind of gone. You know, they're like, hey, we're going to show that there is still space and a fan base and people who want, man, that are clamoring for now, right? Like, oh man, you know, it's like they hear what's out now. And again, like I said, no disrespect to the new artists and no disrespect to the new sound.
Sure.
You know, I love a lot of what they're doing, you know, but sometimes after a while, it's like people are like, man, you can't just take 5 words and repeat them over and over and over and go, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then boom, that's a song. It's like, man, come on, man, give me a hook, give me some substance, give me some, you know, some lyrics and, you know, give me some wordplay. And so I think that there's dudes like Kendrick Lamar, man, that have not, you know, J. Cole and Big Sean and cats that haven't lost touch with the wordplay, the lyricism, and all those things that come along with hip hop, but then they give it that new twist. And that's what I want to do too. I don't want to be the old dude, you know, yelling, get off my lawn to the young cats, man. I want to like show them that, yo, not only am I gonna bring, you know, back that some of that nostalgic hip hop and that nostalgic flavor in those beats and the rhymes and storytelling. Man, you go through and listen to that Presently Past the Future album, right? Listen to Concrete Jungle, man, and the wordplay, and listen to how hard I come out, and understand that I'm not like here, like going, man, you know, hip hop hippie, let's get back to the old school. It's like, man, no, I want to bring the lyrics, man, and bring the fire, man, bring the flame, the wordplay, and all these kind of things with the fact that I'm still not disconnecting myself from the roots of hip hop.
Yeah, for sure. And you expounded on it a little bit earlier, and I'd like to talk about that. I'd like to talk about, you know, I guess the Kid Sensation brand. And it's going to be kind of a broad question, Kid, but how, as Kid Sensation, with everything that's out there right now, just the amazing amount of content that people can consume, how do you make Kid Sensation work? How do you make it work?
Wow, you know, so I get this question a lot. I mean, it's a dope question, because when you think about it, it's like, man, you know, with how crowded the music industry is and how much content there is out there, like how on earth do you kind of separate yourself or even just keep something going? Well, I'll be honest. I don't need, right? When you're a recording artist, to be a successful recording artist, you don't need 100% of the fan base, right? I don't have to be the size of Drake. I don't have to be the size of Future, in order for this thing to work. And here is why. Because as an artist, when you come out, unless you're like this mega artist who never has a dull moment, right, or a down moment, most artists come out, they have this heyday where they like, boom, okay, your music's hot, people are messing with you, you're rocking out, you're doing what you got to do. But then what happens is after a while, people are like, okay, yeah, I'm done with you, man. And I kid you not, I don't care who you are, what artist you are, unless you're one of these just mega people who just never fall off, right? Unless you're Taylor Swift or Drake, Run DMC had it, right? And it's the lull period, I call it. Right? Mix had it. Every artist that I can think of pretty much has had it, where you're like, people are messing with you. Then all of a sudden you kind of start to die down a little bit. And it's for a while, it's like, oh man, you have to kind of try to like, find other different ways to to survive the game, if you will. But then you reach this place, man, where, it's about a decade, maybe it's 15 years, maybe it's even 20 years down the line. And all of a sudden you become kind of classic, right? And so all of a sudden there's this resurgence. People are messing with you again. Your music becomes kind of classic. And so and that's where the phase that I'm kind of like in right now, where like there was a minute, man, where I couldn't get arrested with my record, right? I couldn't get, booked anywhere. I couldn't get any shows. I couldn't get whatever, so I find another ways, whether it's creating partnerships or doing music or, for websites and businesses and people. And I'm trying to sell my music. I'm acting. I'm doing other kind of stuff like that. I've been in a couple of movies. I'm doing speaking engagements or whatever. I'm doing all these different things to kind of quote unquote survive the game. But then all of a sudden, like I said, you reach this phase where you become kind of classic. And all of a sudden, man, like now it's like, man, we're able to get me booked. We're able to get me places, and I'm able to command, a certain, price point for doing shows and doing things like that. And all of a sudden people are messing with you again because they're like, oh my gosh, you get this growth with the fan base of people who are like, okay, I grew up with him. I was in college rocking out with him. But then now all of a sudden they're like, it's like them and they've got kids and they're like, man, okay, now I don't really connect as well to, the baby and all these other people. They're like, I just can't connect to that. What's my source of music? And when they find out, man, that kid is putting out new music and he's still bringing the kind of music that I like and that I connect to. So now, and then these people, right, they're grown up. They're not 24 or 25. They're established. They've got money to spend, and like they will spend money. And we, as artists, it's our responsibility to give them still a good quality product and whatever, when it comes to the music, when it comes to the concerts and all that. So I don't just walk up on a stage, sing my music and leave. Like, I'm going to give my fan base and the people who come to my shows, man, we want to make sure we're giving them a musical experience, man. And so when they come in, there's all, there's screens and I'm telling stories, and there's more to my show than just, get up, sing a song and leave. And so now you've got people who are that are established, that don't have music really that's out right now that they can connect to, that are looking for the music that clamor for the music that they grew up on. And then I meet them right in the middle with exactly what they're looking for. And so it's the perfect storm. And so now we've been able to be very, very successful with that formula.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And I want to talk to you about touring in just a minute, but you mentioned it earlier. You're a keynote speaker, you've acted, you've written books, you're a rapper. What would you say your bread and butter is?
The music, man. It's the music. Yeah. It's never gone away from the music. I mean, and it's really awesome, man, having like an agent, man, that's so on point like Nims, man. She keeps me busy and keeps me booked, and she gets me, stuff going in a lot of different directions. But I would still say that the music is my bread and butter, man. It's where I started. It's what I do. It's what has afforded me to be able to have all of these other opportunities, right? There's no Mackie deal if I didn't create the music. There's no acting, jobs if I didn't create some of the music to, to break open some of these doors. And then the speaking engagements, well, I guess people could be speakers, but I think that my audience has come from, and the reason why there's an audience for me to be able to speak to, and we're able to have this story. The story was built around the music. All of it, when you go back to it, it's the music is the center hub. It's the piece the glue that kind of pulls it all together.
Yeah. How often do you get booked for a show?
Man, yeah, I mean, like really as often as I kind of want to be busy, like I'm going to be very, very busy this summer, and usually the winter, I take more of that time to be kind of with family to create new products and create new things of that nature. But then, yeah, I can perform and be as busy as I want my agent to keep me. And she just, tells me, how do you want your calendar to look? And I'm like, okay, let's pack it out this summer. And then, for that way I can kind of do a little bit more of creating the content and all that kind of stuff during the winter and whatnot.
And how does that work? I mean, you have a booking agent? How do you get booked? And where do you get booked?
Yeah, my agent does, most of my booking. I'll be doing some stuff down here in Dallas this summer. I'll be doing some stuff back in Seattle. Oklahoma City is also a hot spot for me. And so, I bounce around to kind of wherever the desire is. And it was so funny too. When Bone Thugs and those guys came up to, they did like an old school throwback show with Bone Thugs and those guys up in Seattle. I can't remember, maybe it was in Tacoma, at the Tacoma Dome. And they performed up there. And my agent was, she's always kind of involved in a lot of the events and whatnot that are going on up there. And so, and I had some prior engagements, so I wasn't able to be a part. But my agent calls me up and she says, she's driving around with Lazy Bone, and Lazy Bone calls me up and like, kid, man, come on, man, get on a flight, man. You need to be up here. We need you on stage with us, man. Come on, da da da. And so it's stuff like that happens, and we end up connected with people, and that's how we ended up doing the T-Town Rocks Music Festival with Jazzy Jeff and Tone Loc and Young MC and all those guys. We end up on a lot of those things because we just simply are just in the circles with people and we end up connected with them. So there's no one way that we book things or one way we do things. Man, opportunities just seem to come kind of like from everywhere because we've just taken our time to build a good name in the community. We, again, like I say, it's about quality, man. I try to put on a quality show, and people, I think the word kind of has gotten out that I put on a good show, and that we're giving people music. And then, another thing that I've done too, that I think has resonated really well with people is I've kind of, I've removed the profanity and whatnot from my show. And so I put on a clean show, man, and people feel like they can come there, not get cussed out, and just, what I mean, enjoy a great show, man. And, we do things that combine, like, man, we did one at Harissa Entertainment that they put on where we did like a restaurant type of thing, man, where they served like Mediterranean food, and we had comedy, and we had the music, and I headlined the show. And so it's like stuff like that. We try to get really creative with like going, we're not just going to show up, put on a concert, man. We want people to have a experience so that the next time that it's time for us to book, they're excited and want to be there and be a part of what we do. So it's about just growing the experience, man, and trying to give people something that they can really, sink their teeth into that has some substance.
Yeah. And are you typically performing by yourself?
Usually, I have a dancer, Sam the dancer. He is dope, man. And so if you see my performance, you'll always see him around. And then Juan's typically will be with me, which is very, very cool. And I love, because like Juan's, of course, has music of his own, but then he and I do Westsyde together live, and then he'll, be on a couple other songs with me. So I typically don't perform alone, but, and then, of course, we like to, when we book out shows, we love combining things like we talked about with comedy and with other, stuff so that we can kind of like give people a real like experience versus just a show.
And what type of venues are you typically performing at?
Man, everything from clubs to, concert, real actual concert venues to, man, where was T-Town Rocks Music Festival? That was at the Waterfront Marina, right? I mean, we'll do, and then what I'm doing down here in Dallas is going to be at a winery, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just finding, we love to mix it up with different venues because then again, the same thing, we can give different experiences with the different venues.
And what type of crowds are you typically drawing?
Man, it can be, anywhere. And I'll be honest with you, I have done shows with, what's really beautiful about with, again, my agent has been working her tail off. We just about sell out almost every event that we do. And like the T-Town Rock Music Festival was, I don't know, probably 500 people. Some of the bigger concerts that I might do where I'm working with other artists and whatever might be 500,000 people, whatever. Or, and I'll be honest with you, there have been times where we've done clubs where there's been 70 people and they've been great shows because it's like dinner and tables and whatever. It's not like this, packed concert. It's like, oh man, everybody's at tables and they're chilling out. There's 75 people and it's just an amazing experience. They've got a comedy act and they've got myself and they've got some, other things that add to the experience. So for me, I understand that whole quality versus quantity thing. It's not for me about the numbers. And I tell this, I'm going to say this in what I'm saying with this one little quick story. So Run DMC, speaking of Run DMC, we were talking about them earlier. We booked a show. This was back when we were going into that lull period that I was talking about, and Run DMC happened to be in their lull period at the same time. So this was in the like maybe the mid '90s, right? Like this was after all the My Adidas and everything was big, but then this was before like Run's House and all that. This was kind of in that lull period where Run DMC, people wasn't really resonating with people at that time. And so they got booked to come to a venue in Seattle called the Rock Candy. It was a club in downtown Seattle. And it was during the winter time and it was really cold. And I remember it snowed just a little bit, and then the promoter who booked the show to have Run DMC, Mix-a-Lot, and myself perform, he didn't really promote the show very well. So we get to the show and we're all a little bit nervous because we're like, dang, the club's open, the show's supposed to be happening, and there is nobody here, right? And so me and Mix are talking, and and Run DMC and those guys are there, and so about what we're gonna do here, and Mix is like, man, shoot, I done paid my dues, I done did enough empty whack clubs, I'm good, and, so he bounces, and I'm like, well, shoot, I don't really know what to do here. I mean, there's nobody here to perform for, but I guess I probably should do something because I don't want to stiff the performer completely. And I'm sorry, the promoter completely. Okay, what do I do here? Well, I guess I'll just maybe do a couple of songs or something. So I go up and do Back to Boom and do, C-Town Funk. And then I just kind of, just get through. I cut my show into about a third of what it was, and then I'm just done. And I kid you not, when I talk about what the audience was, it was the promoter, it was 3 paying patrons, the bartender, and then a couple of other people. So there was under 10 people in this audience that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, so I get done with my thing, and then it's time for Run DMC to come up, right? And so Jam Master Jay gets out there. He's warming up on the turntables, doing his thing, or whatever the case is. Rest his soul, man. Jam Master Jay was alive at this time, and he's doing his thing. And he warms up for about like 5 or 10 minutes, right? And then like Run comes out, DMC, they come out and they do their intro, boom, 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 and you're like, man, do these guys think they're on stage at Wembley Stadium? What are they doing? I mean, they're going so hard, And then so they come out, do their intro, they high five, and then Run says, listen here. We have performed in front of no crowd. There was a time when we were shopping our demo and we've been put out in places, we've been booed off of stages. We have even performed in front of 0 people. And he said, I'll never forget where I came from. And he said, let me tell you something. There are 3 paying fans in here that came to get a Run DMC show. And that's exactly what you gonna get. And he's like, yo, Jam Master Jay, chicka, 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 chicka. And they just start killing it. And I'm talking about these dudes put on a 45-minute show, did not take no no prisoners, bro. I mean, they put on the best show, and these three fans that were there got the most amazing, and me too, because I'm a huge Run DMC fan. We got the most amazing show that we had ever seen. And Run talked to me about it after the show. He said, man, I just will never take for granted the fact that a fan came out to see me, even if it's just one person. I will never take that for granted. They will always get my very, very best, and that will be the way that it'll be. And I learned a huge, huge lesson that night, man, and it stuck with me.
What year was that?
I would say probably 96-ish,
Okay.
maybe 97, somewhere in there. I think it was later 90s.
Okay. So from that point on, you've always taken that with you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. If I come show up and a show has one paying fan, they're going to get the best Kid Sensation show they've ever seen.
Yeah. I've often wondered that, man, from an artist, if they're looking out at a crowd and they see a crowd of 10,000 versus 10, is it harder for that artist to perform in front of that 10?
Yeah, a lot of people think, that the opposite, that, oh man, 10,000 people, man, that's going to be crazy. And I've done 20,000, I've done more. But it's harder to give that energy when you've got a small crowd of like 10 people, man, especially if you are not 100% sold out and confident in it. If you show up, and because you know how it is, you've watched people perform, and you've watched people where even let's say people that are not very experienced performers, and you see them up there and they're very good, but you can see they're not confident. You can feel they're not confident. If that confidence doesn't just show up and just permeate throughout the audience and just right off that stage, people can feel it.
Yeah.
And so when you're performing, if you're not giving them the very, very most that you have and giving it all your energy and pouring it all out there, people can feel it.
Sure.
And I've done that with 5 people in an audience since learning that lesson. I've done that with a very, very small audience and had an amazing time and given an amazing show.
Yeah.
And it's just about saying that when I step on that stage, I think of it like when Michael Jordan steps out there onto a basketball court, he's blocking everything out except for the fact that his job is to put the brown thing in the round thing, man, and he's going to make it happen on the highest level, and that nobody out there is messing with him. And he's going to show them every play, every time, that he is going to come at you and give you everything that he's got. And that's the way that I approach performing.
Yeah, very cool, man. So I would love to see you perform in Charlotte. How does that process work? What does it take to get you to Charlotte, Atlanta, Tampa, New York, whatever city it may be?
It is literally as simple as reaching out to my agent, Nims, and she's reachable on my website, kidsensation.com. You literally just send in a request. You say, look, this is what we're trying to do. And I always tell people this, that she's going to take care of the business part, but when it comes to getting me out there, we do the best we can to never let finances and all this kind of thing stop us from being a part of something that's really cool and creative. Now, right, I'm not in this for a charity, but at the end of the day, we look to say, if there's something you're trying to make us a part of, holla at us and tell us what it is that you're trying to do, and we will make something happen. We're going to put something together. We're going to make something happen, because for me, it is about the music. It is about the fans. It is about the experience. And if we can do something that is relatively reasonable, let's get it done, and let's put on a show, and let's make it happen. Reach out to NIMS, whoever the people are in Charlotte that want to see this happen, and say, hey, this is what we're putting on. This is what our event is. We'd like Kid to be a part of that, and we're going to figure it out, make it happen.
Cool. Dig it. Going to let you go in just a minute, Xola, but how are the residuals for you through the years?
Man, it's funny, man. It's really just like that whole story I told you about the part when you're hot, and then the lull, and then everything kind of picking back up. It's so funny, man. There was a time where my streaming royalties, and well, I should say my radio play royalties, because this was, you have to remember, my music was around before streaming. And so there was a time where all of that stuff, had its peak, then we had our lull, And now it's all beginning to peak again, man. It's like, it's crazy, man. Like Back to Boom and C-Town Ballers and C-Town Funk and some of these songs, man, it's really crazy. Well, I can't say that they always have, because when Feeling Myself and Westside, when they first came out, of course, they, boom. So those are going to pass up Back to Boom and all that for a while. But Back to Boom now has probably leveled out with Westside and Feeling Myself, because it's just steady, right? I mean, it just, C-Town Ballers, C-Town Funk, those songs are just steady staples that now have hit their thing, and they are just continuing to just take care of me. I mean, that's, again, I'm, without, divulging all my personal business, the bottom line is that music is still my living, man. It literally is my day job. It is my job. It is what I do. And I am just really blessed and fortunate to be able to still do it at a high level. And honestly, if I were telling you the honest truth, and this is just, pushing all the little corny humility stuff aside in terms of just saying, let me just be real with you, bro. I perform better now, 100 times better now than I did when I was 19 and everything was popping and jumping and all that kind of stuff. Because, man, I know now I'm seasoned, bro, and I get this thing, man, and I know how to bring it for an audience, man, because I sell out to it and I give them everything that I have, every fiber of what's inside of me. And I say that with all humility, man, to say that I believe in what I do. I'm just confident in what I do, and I'm confident in the music, and I'm confident in the fact that the audience wants something authentic to connect to, and I believe that I bring that authenticity.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. And I'm not saying this just because you're sitting in front of me, but man, you sound so good, dude. I mean, you can still rap. You still look like you're 35 years old. You're in shape.
Thank you, man.
And I'm not just saying that just to say it, man, but presently past the future, it's fantastic, man. I mean, you really captured that old school feel. And yeah, it's dope, dude. So congrats to you for it.
Thank you, man. If that's the case, if you hear it and you understood what I'm trying to do, it's like I'm trying to bring that nostalgic vibe of hip hop back. I just don't want that to die, Cliff. Yeah. I don't want to lose the essence of what hip hop is. And I know that there are still artists that are out there bringing it, that are bringing that, the lyrics, the rhymes, the storytelling, the beats, the scratching, all that kind of stuff. Like, you listen, man, Funk Daddy, man, he kills it on that album with some of the scratching. Yeah. And like, I wanted all those elements of hip hop, the authentic hip hop that we grew up on, to be a part of this album. And so if you heard it and you go, man, I love what you did, and you brought the old school back, but yet it's still got that twist, and man, I can still hear that you can still rhyme, and your skills are sharp or whatever, then mission accomplished, brother. And thank you, man, because it means a lot to hear that.
Yeah, man, definitely. What's next for you, and what are you working on currently?
Man, well, just a really busy summer, man. I'm writing my second book. It's called Kings: Young Men Discovering Purpose and Shaping Their Destiny. And that book will have a soundtrack too. I'm a rapper, come on, man. It's got to have a soundtrack. And but I'm excited about this book because I'm watching a lot of what's going on with the young men out here, man, the urban community and the urban young men that are out here. And I'm not just talking Black, right? I mean, I'm talking men of all shapes and sizes and colors. Our men, man, I don't say this in a sexist way, but as our men go, so are kind of like our society goes, man. We're meant to be leaders. We're meant to be groundbreakers. We're meant to be, the linchpin of our society. We're supposed to be the backbone of what the direction in which our cities and our families and our communities go. And we're losing our men, man, because they're getting caught up in so many different things. They're being so distracted by so much stuff that's going on here, man. And, our men are losing their masculinity. They're losing their anxiety and depression and, gangs and drugs and all these different things that are catching these young people up, man. It's like, something, man, it's time to start saying, okay, kid, man, Xola, what's going to be your legacy, man? What are people going to say about you at your funeral? What are people going to remember you by? And I want them to understand that the music is what everything, it was what my whole, life was built on, man. Music is a gift from God, man, that I just cherish every day. And I make it, I love it, I perform it, I breathe it, eat it, and sleep it. But I want people to remember that, man, this dude really cared about his community. He really cared about young people. And that's why I'm writing this book to these young men, man, is to say, come on, man, let's remind these young men that they are kings. They're just what's happened is, man, their crowns have maybe been knocked off and maybe they've gotten off course, but they just don't realize the kings that they are. And it's my time to remind these young men that you are young kings, man, and stop walking around here, man, acting like pawns, man, because pawns only move in one direction, only to get swallowed by the end of the end of the chessboard. You are a king, man, meant to move in all directions and meant to rule. And whether your kingdom is just your family or it's your workplace or it's millions of people that follow you, man, start walking with your crown, adjust it, man, put it on back right, and man, let's get you where you're supposed to be. Because when we realize that we're supposed to respect our women, we're supposed to stand up for our communities and stand up for each other, and we're supposed to look racism in the eye and look, homophobic, stuff. We have to look these people in the eye, and we have to say, man, we're going to stop treating people, no matter who they are, where they are, we're going to stop treating people with differential partiality, and we're going to start being real and raw and saying, man, strip off all this mess and let's start getting back to community and love and treating all people with dignity and respect. Let's get these young men right, man. All right, I'm off my soapbox of preaching, man, but yo, it's time to make this world a little bit better place, and I hope that I'm remembered for a person who wanted to do that.
Dig it, man. Very well said. Kid, any plugs? Social media platforms, websites, anything you want to plug?
You can reach everything at kidsensation.com. All of my social media and everything is there. Kid Sensation. It's all on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere, man. It's all Kid Sensation. Is all my branding, man. And please come and check me out on the site. See what's going on with the book. See what's going on with my performing, and see what's going on. Reach out to Agency Mims. Reach out to my agent. She's on the website as well, kidsensation.com. If you ever want to connect with me and contact me, reach me there on the site, man. I'm not this, I'll have my people get back. No, man, I respond to people's inquiries. I respond to people, if they're asking to talk to me, man, I holler at them. I've given people's kids advice who's making music. I don't care, man, what it is. Let's connect, man. Let's be real and let's be people, man. Let's do what we do.
That's awesome, man. You're very easily accessible. Final two questions for you, kid. Is a new album in the works currently? And when was the last time you ate at Dick's?
Ooh, man, I ate at Dick's. That was a couple of visits ago in Seattle, man, because I have to have them greasy fries, man. The Dick's fries are just amazing, man. So it's been a few months. That's awesome. Love their fries, and man, the Dick's Deluxe. Come on, man, you can't do no better than that.
Love it.
And your second question was, am I working on any new music? And
Correct.
Yes, I'm working on that Kings soundtrack, and there will be another Kid Sensation album in the works. And I'll tell you more about it. In fact, hopefully you'll have me back on the podcast when it's time to release, so we can talk about it, because it's going to be a doozy, brother.
Absolutely, man. Definitely will have you back. Dude, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for taking time out of your day to come on and talk to me and, share your knowledge. So I greatly appreciate it.
100%, Cliff, man. Thank you for having me. Continue to do the good work you're doing, man. And
you too, man.
Let's keep this good music alive, man. I just love the fact that you have it in your heart, man, to keep this good music alive and keep telling the stories of artists, man. So thank you for having me, and I can't wait to be back.
For sure, man. Thanks a lot, kid. Appreciate it, man.
100%.
Peace.
Later, man. Blessings.
See you.